I guess I'm live. I thought I was waiting for something. But anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and whatever time you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Knoll, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. So I hope that this finds you well, wherever you may be, and whoever you may be. I think that there's Mossy Man in the house. I am on my cell phone still. Um, I have been remiss to want to reboot this computer, and it is 12:21, by the way, so it's 20 minutes after, and I am ready. So the title of this video is Two Videos Deleted About Health. Honest to goodness, I've had two videos deleted by YouTube because somehow something in two of these separate videos that I mentioned something in the thing about um, health. Now, I don't have a clue as to what the hell I would have talked about that would have netted me to been, how did I become so famous with my small channel that yeah, so but in there they said, well, they didn't give me a strike against my channel because they didn't think there was ill intent. No, wait a minute. Ill intent? So I was giving out misinformation, but I wasn't, there was no ill intent on my part. So they didn't give me a strike. Hey, Amanda, how you doing? Yep. Hi and blessings back to you, Miss Amanda. Keep your head down. There's craziness going on. So I'm like the other day when I got these things from YouTube in my email, I was like, what the hell are they talking about? So I can't look at the videos to see what I might have said because they've deleted them. So I'm like, couldn't fix the problem if I wanted to because they've deleted the the videos. So which is just interesting in and of itself. But something I discussed in one of those or in both of those videos um, was something that was, YouTube didn't like in their policy thingy. So the staff reviewed it, both of the videos. I'm like, seriously? I know they put this stuff in there, but the algorithm found it, that whatever I had said in my videos, you know, uh, that mentioned health, you know, what? Seriously. But I mean, the fact that I've hit the big time, that's what got me. It was like David Null's channel got two. What? They deleted two of my videos because of what? Yeah, I know. Shame on me. Just shame on me. Hey, Richard, how you doing? And Mark, Mossy Man. I'm doing fair to middle, and I'm really sluggish here lately. They've given me another medication here these last couple of weeks, and Me and my body are not, we're not getting along with it too well. I'm just sluggish. I just don't know sluggish, and I don't want to be sluggish, and Duggar doesn't want me to be sluggish. Yeah, no, it wasn't anything about some about shaman teachings. It wasn't any one of those. There was one where I did an update of like earth wobble and health issues and something, something, something. It was a couple of things like that. But I'm sure that I had mentioned something about getting jabbed, probably. You're struggling again as well. Yeah, for me, Richard, my buddy Rob that has taken care of me and made sure I've got to the hospital and so forth. Recently, his father just had 3 stents put in, and we're about the same age. And he's feeling much better. And I'm told Rob the other day, I said, I said, your pop's still feeling pretty good. And he goes, yeah, he's doing really well after they put the stents in. And I'm at 60, 65% myself. So I'd like, why don't you guys just go ahead and put the stents in? Because I'm being hard of breath, having hard to breathe in, and would I feel better if you guys just went ahead and put these gun things in? Well, from everybody I've talked to and so forth, they've all felt better afterwards, right? And so it's like, my question is that one of the reasons why I'm feeling sluggish is because my heart is so doing, is at that 60, 65% area where they're, ready to put stents in my heart. So, and would that make me feel that much better, So anyway, so I feel like I'm fighting my health on several fronts. I'm getting old. That's one front, you know, and a back too sometimes. But that I've got a heart condition. Okay, I'm fighting that front, if you will. And then there is my back issue, right? So one day my heart feels good, but my back sucks. One day my back feels good and my heart sucks. One, if it didn't, if it, none of them are feeling good on the same day. But I digress. I'm just doing the best I can under these circumstances. Um, but I do wish I was getting along a little better in that respect. So, but the weather has cooled off, which is much appreciated because one of the issues that I was having, was the hot weather. And the cool weather is much to my benefit, and who we love it. Me and Doug are both just shimmy and shake and wag our tails. But but the YouTube thing and being famous, one of the things I just couldn't believe, when I got the notifications that I had been flagged and deleted for what. And so in my tiny little brain, I'm trying to think, what the hell did I talk about health wise that would have gotten me flagged? But just, so here's the thing. I'm like, I have talked about medicinal herbs and things. So if I was to discuss dandelions, would that be like bad information? Would I be like, is that a health thing? Or that, you take a lot of garlic because it's good for your bloodstream. And, wait a minute, that's health related now. But wait a minute. what did I discuss in them videos I did? So can you talk about vitamins? Because I've talked about vitamin D, for example, and how important, that we don't take enough vitamin D. And that was my kidney doctor said that, that's not my findings. That's my kidney doctor says, Mr. Null, you should take 3 a day, not one. Oh, you should really take more vitamin D. Oh, well, a lot of doctors are saying that, but because I discussed it in a video, that because it's health related, um, no, I don't. It wasn't said in the chat. No, it was my content. It was my content, Mark. That's for sure. But in my conversation with y'all, I had to have a topic to get on to have something to talk about tonight, this morning. But I was like, but what the hell? Have I ever talked about anything? Oh my God, maybe I mentioned something about ivermectin. Does anybody even know what it is? We're not going to say anything more. But to the point though, but wait a minute, but maybe I said something about, um, um, some kind of bowel movement because I've talked about having a colonoscopy over the years and but wait a minute, so in this discussion about health that I have gotten flagged about, and like I said, I can't watch the video to find out what I might have said because they've deleted it. They could have put it on hold and said, you should watch this. And right in here at 10 minutes in, you said such and such. Okay. So, but no, I don't even know how long the thing was, the videos, but that they're deleted. So, okay. So now I'm in a way on pins and needles, like, what the fudge did I say? So I don't say anything like it again, right? So, YouTube, if you're trying to get me on this, because I have called you out on this, um, you know, I would like to know what I said, you know, and if so, shame on me, you know. I know they are watching me close, and I don't even do videos. But I guess in a way, I feel like, oh, holy crap, I got caught at school for cheating or something, and I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell did I do? And I mean, seriously, what the hell did I do? Um, YouTube are a shadow of what they used to be. Yeah. And I've noticed I was going down my list of subscribers, and there are a lot of people I was like, I wonder what happened to them folks. I wonder what happened to this guy. I wonder what happened to this lady. I wonder what happened to these folks. I wonder what happened to that, you know. And there are several folks as I was looking down my subscriptions list that over the last couple of years, there are 20 different channels that I used to listen to on a regular basis that they're not there. Yeah, so and one of the things I'm going to have to do, especially since I've had issues with YouTube, is I need to see about Rumble and the other ones and see what I can do. Because I don't think that I am that controversial. We get together and have our little chats and so forth. And I like getting together and I like the camaraderie and sharing stuff and bring it up. Oh, did you know? Have you heard? What about this? Have you heard? And we exchange things back and forth. Um, but I would hate not to be able to do it. You know, I would hate to get to have this, what little bit of an opportunity I have to say something get, yanked out from underneath me. I would miss y'all. Um, so there are times when I feel like I've got something to say and, I want to have a chat with y'all and, let's smoke a bowl and chit chat about this. And, how can we, yeah, I don't know about Odyssey. And there are a lot of things I've been putting off. And after this last heart attack, there's just, I don't know, I'm just sluggish, is all I can tell you. Sluggish in my head and sluggish and, well, I don't want to fool with this right now. And I don't know. Well, I should redo this computer. Yeah, it wasn't mine. And I don't know. And blah, blah, blah. Next thing I know, it's been 2 weeks later and I ain't done nothing. So, um, but I also realize that there are many of us who have been going through some ups and downs. And some of this being from the Kali Yuga stuff going on, right? A lot of different energies, and we're a certain channel we visit, if you know what I mean. Oh, which one? Which channel? Oh, you mean Dante? He had a video out yesterday or today or something, and I missed it. It went private before I got a chance to see it. Yep, the shadow beings. There's some ugly looking critters, some of them, compared to you and me, right, Richard? I'm so pretty. Your problem got worse at Max? I didn't know you had a problem. Really, Mark? Hmm. Fishy things, huh? There are some fishy people out there that no matter what they do, I don't know. And maybe it's their nature that they have to be fishy. It might be what their job is to be fishy. Right, agents, agent provocateurs. And it's like, are you, seriously? Do you have to be? Do you gotta be? Okay. If you just gotta be, then okay. I consider you all, if you're hanging out with me, you're woke enough that you ain't stupid, you know? You know a few things. And we share and you know a few things. And so anybody who would think that you're on the short end of the stick with smartness, they've got the short end of the stick. Richard, I absolutely agree with you about things changing so quickly. I mean, talking with my 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 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 15. She turned 15 this year. Yeah, I think anyway. Um, she's, listening to her chat about high school and friends and things and stuff and her take on stuff. I'd shake my head and go, not not all teenagers are stupid. Not all young people are stupid, not just teenagers, but there are some of them that are dumb as a box of rocks. I mean, I wonder how they're able to get back and forth without getting lost. I mean, seriously, I think some of the 14-year-olds have Alzheimer's disease. That's not to keep those up, if you know what I mean. Yep. The human Z's. Yep. That's a good one. Yep. And that some of these people, I mean, they're sitting on a tree limb with a banana, you know, whether or not debating on whether or not they're going to throw shit at you, and which hand, is convenient. Well, I got a banana in this hand and I'm holding on to the tree with the other. So which hand do I use? So the monkey takes, he don't want to let loose of that banana. So he lets loose of the tree limb to grab some poo to throw at you, and he falls off the limb. Okay, get that visual. So there are some folks that are sitting on the limb that don't want to let go of that banana, and they're ready to sling something at you, but you know they let go of the tree limb. You know, you know. So, but in life these days, and trying to just what the hell did I say in them videos? I'm on that that topic, right? So what did I say that could possibly upset these people at YouTube to the point where they didn't just make the videos private for me to like go over to find out what I may have said that caused so much consternation with the staff of YouTube for them to, uh, delete the videos? Or is it that the algorithm just finds something and says, delete, and we're sending you an email? We don't give a shit anything else, but what was it that I said? What did I discuss? Was it about the COVID? Was it about, what was it that I said that got my videos deleted? Now it's a free service, but I'm just curious as to what this old goopy motherfucker might have said that upset the staff at YouTube. You know, what could I possibly have said that isn't being said all over the YouTube now? I mean, there's Jimmy Doran folks that are talking openly about, Fauci and things. There are other people openly talking about, Dr. Campbell, who's openly talking about the how many people have died and so forth, and how many people have gotten, different kinds of things because of the, stuff. But so, I'm afraid to say something. What did I say? What could I have possibly expressed my feelings as to, oh my God, don't take penicillin. You might become allergic to wheat bread. What? Or did I say, for example, in one video, I believe I might have said something about a friend of the family's who was who was a true, honest to God, licensed medicinal herb person, talked about his pharmacist buddy who said if you had a headache, to take a teaspoon of regular ammonia, not soapy ammonia, and a glass of water and stir it up and drink it and cure a headache. What? So, but I'm not saying you should go drink ammonia, but that when you find out about ammonia, that it's actually, in smelling salts and other things. And, but so, it was it that, you know, what I was relating in that story is, did I tell you to do it? No, I'm saying that he said he had prescribed it. That's a hearsay story, right? So am I trying to give, you know, bad health information about, what I just said about a headache, for crying out loud? No. Well, I hope not. But to the point though, for the life of me, I can't imagine what I said, you know. But it must be important because this old 71-year-old hippie dude is somehow getting flagged by YouTube for talking something about health that they don't like. Now, ain't that just something? Ain't that just interesting? I just got to say that I am so important that the staff of YouTube had to go over my video. Are you paying attention? You know, God love you, friends. I'm still working on this 20, by the way. So I'm curious as to whether or not you would consider this the fact that I'm being censored. Now, is it censorship for a platform to want to rein in their um, content providers, which I am a content provider? That, wait a minute, you're talking about something that does not conform with our guidelines. Therefore, we are pulling your video, Mr. No. Okay. Community guidelines. About what? Again, they have deleted the video. So I am trying my best to conform to their community guidelines because, as much as I can talk around stuff, I would love to find out what stuff I discussed that I got the staff of YouTube all upset. I'm just curious, you know? And it is my voice and is my opinion such that there are thousands of people that watched my videos, that there are hundreds of thousands of subscribers to my channel, that my discussion of whatever I discussed meant that two of my videos had to be deleted. I must be real important. I have moved up on the ladder as far as importance because somehow two of my videos within 2 days were flagged and deleted because of something I talked about health. I'm just being raggedy and just as um, sarcastic as I can be at the moment, right? Am I really pissed off about it? And what I'm pissed off about is I don't know what I said. No more other flavors. Yeah. Well, I've noticed that I have, ever since this song, the small town thing, and I have subscribed to a couple of uh, channels that are obviously black. I mean, full-fledged. And and I listened to their opinions, and how they're against the Democratic Party, and I would call these folks not, not ghetto, but just common black folk, giving their opinions, and I've been surprised at, how white some of these black folks sound. Yeah, hello, Bob. Be nice. I wonder if Bob is one of the ones that turned me in. Mark. Yeah, I've got to remember who owns the platform. That's absolutely true. And so, but listening to some of these, black individuals talk about other black people and about how they are not subscribing to this Whitey has it all syndrome, because there's so much difference in today's times, and how bad they hate Trump. I mean, I'm sorry, how bad they hate Biden, and how they're actually used to hate Trump, but now these folks of many colors are just start to, maybe Trump wasn't so bad after all. I mean, and well, what about Robert Kennedy, and what about this person, and it's screw Biden, and he thought, that all black folks were going to be, because they're black, they're going to vote Democrat, and just a lot of this conversation, and you say, well, well, I've heard a couple of white people talking about that. Really? Yeah, but it's more interesting when you have whites and blacks discussing the topic together. And you hear that there are white people who are trying to stand up for the black folks, and the black folks are going, you don't need to stand up for me. I can stand up for myself. And you go, whoa, now that's different, you know, which is good. It's a good thing, So, but topics of discussion. So I love the multicultural across the platform, and that I don't know if there have been any black channels that have been pulled down. Uh, uh, I'm not subscribed to that many that I can tell a difference. All right. Some of the channels that I subscribe to are multi platform, different things, other people, it's just not one culture that's working there kind of thing, but individual channels, right? So, but it's nice to hear, you know, what these folks have to say on an individual basis, you know, not what the news says black people feel about this, or what brown people, or what Chicano people, or what, um, you know, Oriental peoples feel, you know, or Canadians, or Mexicans, or whatever, multicultural, right? And me being able to talk about Native American things. Your comments have disappeared. But it's like, there is no mod, so got to be the owners. Some of my comments have not appeared, David. So, no, really? That's interesting. Hmm. Um, It's not the first time it's happened. Hmm. Well, that's interesting because there isn't anybody modding at the moment, that would have the power to do it. But hey Michelle, but Richard, um, that I'm so damn famous, that it's got to happen at all. I just, how you doing, Michelle? Yep, just as I mentioned it, there comes Michelle, you know. But it's just interesting, like, well, whether it's on purpose or not, but the coincidences is of certain things are just like, what? Did you just see that happen? Did you just see that? Well, wait a minute. No, I didn't see nothing. You know, um, you know, uh, don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Love you too, sweetie. Yep, I agree. Get your baseball mitten out so we can catch up with some tomatoes. We can make salsa. Mark, there's something, and I've been really good at faking things over the years, especially when it was appropriate. So, there are things I got away with when I was in jail, for example. And I was just smiling and, styling and profiling and yes, boss man, no boss man. And they thought we were squeaky clean when I was cooking, hooch. They're literally right under their noses. So there were times when I have been honest, and then there's been times when I have been honest, but depending on the circumstances, like I was a prisoner in jail, a trustee, but I had been without any kind of alcohol or anything to get me high, for like forever. And we made some booze. So they kind of sort of found out after the fact, but we'd already drank it by then. But now, was that being dishonest? But dishonest to whom? They didn't know until afterwards that we had made the hooch. There was only those of us who made the hooch that knew we made the hooch. Okay. So is that being honest? You say, well, Dave, well, you breached your a trust. You were supposed to be honest. As a prisoner in jail, I'm supposed to be honest, right? Well, you bend the rules some, right? So where do you bend the rules and how much do you bend them if you bend them at all? But you play my point to this is that you play the game. So, there were times because I had my left leg broken. So, this thing about kneeling. So, because of my left leg was broken playing football, you've heard me talk about it. I was not able to kneel correctly. So, I would fake it with my left leg up, but kneel on my right leg, or on my right knee. So I could make it look like I was kneeling on both legs, but wasn't. So I faked it. So for years, because my left leg was bad, and if I wanted to kneel down in church or whatever, kneeling has always been an issue since my leg was broken. So, but somebody said, well, I didn't know you had a problem. Well, kneeling. Well, that's because I'm I'm good at faking kneeling. Well, I didn't know that you had a problem. Well, yeah, for the last 50 years, I've had a problem with my left leg. I didn't know. That's because I've been able to fake it to folks out there. I just didn't know. That's how well you fake something, right? Is hooch homebrew beer or wine? It can be either one. Hooch is a term for homemade, normally homemade um, hooch. The, watching Pappy Boyington and um, back in World War II, Pappy Boyington and the guys in Black Sheep Squadron there on the islands, they made hooch, or they had hooch, and it was sometimes it was moonshine, and sometimes it was sometimes it didn't shine at all. Sometimes it was beer, or but some kind of alcoholic beverage, normally made homemade, uh, uh, or whatever. So hooch, yeah. And some of the hooch that we made, it was very short term, and because we used mixed fruit, it tasted more like wine. It was very fruity. So it had sugar, yeast, and fruit. Yep, that's it. And I've had some people say, "No, you can't do it that way," and "No, you can't listen to me." I've got um, five, four glass demijohns. The big glass 5-gallon demijohns, and have I've talked about this before, but have made what they called hippie wine back in the day. And a lot of people just swear up and down, Dave, I don't know where you got this wine from. And I used to give bottles of wine away for Christmas time back in the day. And um, back when I was poor, somebody'd slip me a fiber because they really liked my wine, you know. And on the weekends, when back in the day when you had to go to Florida for beer, they would come out and get some of Uncle Dave's wine. But anyway, yeah, sugar, yeast, fruit, and water to taste. And so it takes. Um, Here's the recipe for a 5-gallon bucket. You need 1 gallon at least of fruit. Okay. Now, depending on how dry you like your wine, and also at the alcohol content, but that gets a little tricky in that, well, if you add more sugar, you can make the alcohol content go up. But yeah, but then you can make your wine too sweet and then you don't want to drink it. So, but my rule of thumb over many years of making it is 5 pounds of sugar for a 5-gallon bucket, uh, and 1 gallon at least of fruit, okay, and one packet of yeast. All right. And if you work it right, now here's the trick is that 5 pound bag of sugar has got to work. It's going to bubble. The yeast makes it work to get the alcohol out of it. So to get that alcohol content. But after a week to 10 days, then you got to pour that mess off. You got to show enough pour it off. Now it for me to fill up one 5-gallon demijohn with wine, all five, fill it up. It took 2 5-gallon buckets, because by the time you squeeze out all the fruit and everything, and by the time you do this and that, and you lose some water here or whatever, it's going to take you, you're only going to get about maybe 3 gallons out of that 5-gallon bucket after you do all the rendering and everything. So, but anyway, and then you put it up in they make these things that go in the top of your demijohns that go up and come back down. And it's like a P trap under your sink, okay? And it keeps air from getting into the bottle, into the jug. So as you work the sugar and the yeast while it's in the 5-gallon bucket, and it's still bubbling, but when you put it in the container, now you're not getting any extra air to it. So as it, yeah, you bend, and then they sell them with it's plastic, and with a cork and everything that you pop right into the top there. But it lets air out of the jug, but no air in. So it bubbles out, but will suck the water back up in there. So no fresh air can get into the jug and taint the wine as it's cooking off. So and that you gotta have one of those. Now there have been some folks who've made some wine and put it under the trailer or whatever, and but then I've tasted some of that wine and it wasn't too bad. But it's homemade wine, so they think it's gotta taste like vinegar. No, the hell no, it don't. If you was to put it in a jug and put that P trap on it, and then you would probably really have something. But I've had some homemade wines over the years. A lot of rednecks around here make it. And a good friend of mine down the road, he's like, "Oh, have some of my homemade wine." I was like, "How'd you make it?" And he was like, "Oh, I made it like this. Did you have some of my. And he's like, "Well, Dave, I've had some of your wine back in the day. Well, try some of mine." Okay. Nowhere near what I made, because it tasted like vinegar. That's why. Had a good fruity flavor and it was sweet enough, but tasted like vinegar. And that's because I didn't put it up right. So, but anyway, so you can have some really good vinegar and it's like cooking sherry. You can still drink it. It's still got alcohol in it. But if you like that little bit of taste of vinegar, well then okie dokie. And vinegar won't hurt you. But if you really want wine, then cap that puppy off. You know, cap that puppy off and put one of them thingies in it. Don't just say, well, I'm gonna, somebody says, well, I put it in a jug and seal the lid on it. Well, but then it'll pop that top. It'll blow up a glass jug if you ain't careful, because of the yeast and the pressure behind it. So be careful of that too. But so anyway, and I don't know, maybe YouTube will, get me for giving advice on how to make alcohol. Um, and that maybe that is that is beyond their scope of, but I don't know, that could be a health issue. Maybe I talked about making alcohol at one point and they deleted them videos. I don't know. And maybe I'm just a cranky old son bitch. And they just wanted to get me on something just to keep me in line. Who knows? But since I don't talk about guns or nothing, I might try and make some. Richard, it's real easy. The hard part, well, I say it's real easy. Um, the hard part is that when you when you take it out of the 5-gallon jug bucket, um, you have to get the fruit out, or at least most of it. It doesn't hurt if fruit gets in your 5-gallon demijohn, but you want to get most of it out so that the only thing that's going into your demijohn is just mostly liquid. There's going to be some pulp and stuff if you do it right, you know. And one of the best wines I made was buying just cans of plums, whole plums, red plums, and adding dried packages of prunes, because prunes are plums. Makes the nicest color wine, and you know, and with a good flavor. Plum wine is good. So when I made my plum wine, people was like, "How'd you make this?" Well, with plums. And when they found out that I was using prunes, they were all like, "Oh my God, this is made out of prunes." And, you know, but prunes are plums, dumbass. Prunes are plums. I repeat, dumbass. but you made them out of prunes. I know they're plums. They're dried plums. Dumbass. But anyway, but make a really good wine. It makes a really good wine. Especially if you got the purple plums, the canned plums that are almost blue. Now there are folks who make apple wine, and a couple of years ago, well, it's been 20 years ago now, a guy in the neighborhood had an apple tree that there was just apples all over the place. Yeah, I'm hitting this early. I'm tired tonight, and I'm gonna let you off. I'm not gonna stay up all night with you tonight, but it's fun being with you. And I did want to just, you know, have a chit chat about the videos being deleted. But oh, I forgot what I was going to talk about. Anyway, it's 12 till, and y'all are back on my time. I did not have to acclimate myself because I do not set my times up or back. And I know a couple of people like, well, it's hard to get used to this time change. Or I don't do that any right. So y'all caught back up with me. Yum yum. Yes. The sundial? Yes. Well, my house is a sundial, but yes. And what I did was between the sun and my clock, you know, what time is it? It's 10 o'clock. Okay. Then I'd look at the house and find out where on the windowsill 10 o'clock was. And so I literally have pencil lines in the windowsill. And then it got so jumbled that I made a template to go in the windowsill on a piece of cardboard that has degrees on it. So what had noticed was that on certain days, 10 o'clock wasn't 10 o'clock. It was 9:30. Or 10 o'clock on the sundial should have been, you know, 10 o'clock on the clock was actually 10:30 or a quarter of 11, you know. And then 2 days later, it would be just the opposite. 10 o'clock by the sundial was actually 9:30 on my clock. So I started noticing some severe extremities and extreme things on extremities with the way the sun, and that's where I started seeing more of the earth wobble thing, and was outside looking at Pleiades the other day, and I need to do a couple more uh, observations, but we're still in the earth wobble, and we're just kind of, some days where it's really hanging out there, because, and I can say that because on, I'm making this up now. All right. I'm making this part up, but it's like I have seen. So on Sunday, this is just to give a day thing. On Sunday, um, Orion is low in the sky. I can see it through this window right there. And by Wednesday, Orion is straight overhead, and I have to go outside and look. And you go, well, wait a minute. Well, but that's Orion. Okay. That's a constellation. That's not the moon that's moving on its own. Okay. That's a constellations. Now, Orion's just one because there's Pleiades and all the other constellations that are tied in with Orion. But Orion is the one that I'm focused on because it's 3 stars and it's easy to spot, blah blah blah. So then on Friday of this same week, Orion's back overhead. I mean, straight overhead. Or wait a minute. I mean, it's overhead on Wednesday, and by Friday it's back down. Okay. So, but that means that we're doing this number. We are wobbling like that top. So 2 or 3 days for it to be overhead, and 2 or 3 days for it to be over here, or 2 or 3 days to be back over here. So you can imagine, if you will, that we're going like this. We're high and low, high and low. Who said that earlier? High and low, high and low. So, but it's this time of year when the stars are so easy to see that you can make those kinds of observations. And I have noticed it. Yes, we're still wobbling. Yes, it's still it's Earth is still acting like a drunkard. And what's that got to do with the price of tea in China? It's keeping us all drunk. I mean, for the last 2, 3 years, I've been talking about it. Some of us are getting seasick over the thing. Strange days indeed. Yep, it was fascinating. Is it back up time now? It Richard, have you talking about is it back up, meaning the cycle? It depends. That sometimes it's like a at least a 4 or 5 day cycle, my average. That But see, some days it gets cloudy and then I can't observe it, and it throws my observations off. So, but the moon has been fairly regular, even though it's wobbling itself and following what used to be a month. It's happening in a couple of days. It's happening in about 5 days. The moon goes from straight overhead to down here in the southern sky. And full moon, it's overhead, and by the new moon, it's low in the sky again. So, um, and it's been hanging on to that pretty regular now for a year, from my observations. Um, but now, as far as that's has nothing to do with the Earth wobble. That's the moon, and it's going up and down. Okay, but it does have to do with the wobble but and I think that the moon moving up and down in its trajectory, if you will, has to do with the earth wobble because it's moving around the way it does. So, and I do think there are other factors like, the the oceans are sloshing around, and the magma under the earth is sloshing around, and there's a lot of sloshing going on, and volcanoes and earthquakes. There's just a lot of sloshing going on, but the sloshing going on is what the when you look at Orion or you look at any constellation and you go, whoops, it's straight overhead tonight. And then 5 days later, you go outside and you go, okay, where's Orion? And you come to find out it's down over here somewhere. And you go, woo, that, my friends, is true Earth wobble. And when I've seen it flop around in as short as 3 or 4 days, okay, Orion goes from overhead to off at a 40-degree angle, we'll say, in 3 or 4 days. That's quick. And I, I mean, that's really quick, you know. We ain't just lazily kind of coming around to this. No, it's like, nyum. We are really going after it, So it's 20 after if you got them. I I got probably one hit left in this thing over here, maybe two. But I hope y'all are doing as well as possible under the circumstances. I know the world is crazy, and it's fixing to get crazier, if you can believe it. But we need to take and keep our hombres, our friends, close. If you don't have any friends, then make one or two. You know, because it ain't going to pay just to have enemies. That just ain't going to work. You know, especially in the long run. I made two new friends today who are um, the phone guys that buried my cable up to the hill. They were like, what does hermitage mean? And I was like, well, one guy was like, if he wants to know. And I looked at him, and it sort of Mexican descent. I was like, do you know what a hermitage is? And he went, no, sir. So I was like, I explained it to him, and I was like, so the one guy said, you mean if me and the wife if we're fed up with the kids and we need to get away, we could just come out here and sit if we wanted to? And I was like, yeah. Well, we just might do that then. I was like, well, come down the driveway and beep your horn. Let me know who you are, come on down. So made two new friends today. And uh, so by being open and having a sign at the top of the driveway for the last 10 years. Um, so I've said this in the past that sometimes you could be sitting at the house and something happened. And you just like, what? And for me, I've been around long enough doing theater, puppet shows, and I got a sign at the top of the driveway, and somebody goes, "Who is that guy that Some of the neighbors talk us. Who is that guy with the sign? Oh, well, that's Mister Dave. Yeah, he's the old hippie. Yeah, he's got a hermit. Yeah, he's an old hermit. Yeah, yeah, you can go down there and sit around the fire with him if you want. And hey, hey, Steve, how you doing? Yep, understood. The tech is very powerful. Most Yeah, I hope everything is going well in your corner, Steve, and everybody else too. Um, but you know, the fact that I'm sitting down here I'm on the edge of the swamp, and I've got fiber optics. What? I got fiber optics? You know, really? Yep. Wow, that just to me is just like, holy crap. Many will appear to have lost their souls in these final days. So intense will be the nature of the. Yeah, Blue Star Prophecy. Yeah. Oh, but mostly what I can still is the energies coming from the middle of the galaxy, the yugas. You know, there's magnetic thingies and stuff going on. You know, ooh wee. I'm listening to other folks, but I can tell you from my standpoint, ooh wee. I'll be glad when some of this stuff is over. I'm just ooh wee. You know, and just some days it's just hard to get your head up to look up over the counter. You know, and then other days, you know, is like this is this groovy, and there doesn't seem to be a piss ant's worth of difference between day one and day two. The one day is wee doggies, and the other day is woo doggies. You know, totally different. So, but I'm gonna leave it to y'all. It's a hour and 7 minutes and 51 seconds. Um, I got to put the phone on charge, and I'm sitting here sideways, and I got a neck ache, and I'm just tired tonight, and a little slightly out of it. And I'm going to go lay my body down. Plus, I want to not stay up too late tonight because there are things I would like to do outside tomorrow. So, but my dear friends, I love you all, and I do every single day. And Michelle, yep, we need to catch up, but you know better what your schedule is than I do. um, but I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings out there in the universe. And that you all keep up the good work with staying out of the chaos. You know, I know there have been some folks who, you know, and having conversation and stuff, and have noticed that where they used to be trolls of a certain way, you know what, I just told them what I felt in the chat room, and now they're like, you know what, I thought about what I wanted to tell them, but I thought I should in the chat room, but I realized that, you know, it wasn't going to do me no good. And go, really? Say, yeah, I used to be in there and be real vocal, and it's not, and I'll go in there and I'll say something. Now, these are other people, right? And to where they used to be, just their attitude was they were like trolls in a way. Well, I just told them how I felt, and I was like, yeah, but should you have? I mean, you of course you have the right to say any god dog thing you want to, but should you? You know? And they're like, well, you know, Dave, no, you know what? And then they find out after just paying attention to that. Sure, you have the right to say any damn thing you want to, or do you have the right? Well, you know, free speech and all that. Well, okay, but do you have the right? to say anything at the expense of somebody else's feelings or something, you know? And so I have noticed that there are some folks, I used to be one of these radical people, mind you, that there are some folks who have calmed down their radicalism because they're not expressing themselves, or they have changed the way that they are expressing themselves now. Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. They're using a little bit of wisdom now, and they can see it themselves without somebody having to tell them, you know, you shouldn't have said that. That was uncalled for. They're realizing now where they're editing themselves, and they're going, you know what? I would have said something like blah, blah, blah 6 months ago. And now I realize that I, I don't need to say something like that. And for me to say something like that now is really out of place and out of order. And I realize it now in the grand scheme of things of the universe. And I'm like, bravo, bravo, bravissimo, my friends and neighbors, bravissimo. You're doing so well. Oh, bravissimo. So there, you know, we're making headway, you and I, and us. And that's why I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. And, you know, and that people are starting to say, you know, that's chaos over there. I just, you know, ain't going to have nothing to do with it. Well, did you hear about such and such? Yeah, well, so what? Well, you know, it's them damn Masons, you know. It's the Masonic lodges, you know. It's them damn, you know, it's the Vatican. Well, I'm still kind of hollering about the Vatican, but everything used to be Vatican, Masonics, you know, 333, 666. Okay, and now people are going, we know. It's the Khazarian Mafia. Yeah, okay, we know. It's the Bilderbergs. Yeah, okay, we know. And maybe it's the fact that there are enough of us that know that people don't have to say it every time. Well, it's the Bilderbergs, you know, and it was the, you know, and it was the, you know, okay, but we know. So we don't have to say it every time. We just kind of understand it. Another night and morning of thick fog for the third night in a row. Yeah, it's clear here tonight. But anyway, I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will keep up the good work, and that you will continue to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings in the universe, and that you share those with other folks. And in delightful little ways that they'll just be able to pick it up on their own and go, you know what? I realized that, you know, wow, I'm, I realized I used to be grumpy all the time. And I just realized I'm not quite as grumpy as I used to be. And that's because, you know, I don't get upset like I used to, you know. I'm being able to manage the chaos better. Wisdom from the universe. And like, bravo, you folks are learning. People are learning. It's starting to rub off on folks. And I'm so proud for the human race. You know, so proud for the human race that, oh my goodness, you know, and hopefully YouTube won't think that I'm talking about some kind of health issue and take this video off the market. So, but anyway, I'm trying to keep them, under 2 hours and 3 hours and 4 hours. So, we are raising our consciousness. Absolutely. And in that, wisdom is being imparted. And between folks, I have, just played the devil's advocate and just kind of watch in a chat room of some other place, right? And I'm just watching, and folks are calling stuff on each other, and not in a rude way. It seems like rudeness has gone down, not in all venues, but in certain venues, the rudeness has gone down. They still call each other on certain things, and well, you should, and no, that's not true, or blah blah blah. Yep, but they're just not calling each other names as bad or something. And I gotta say that in the long run, okay, wisdom, or people, if are people learning who are the ones that are being the buttholes? Are they learning that if they're too much of a butthole, they get thrown out? So are they learning to be just enough of a butthole to be a butthole, but not so much as to get thrown out of a chat or off a channel or band or whatever, And then there's some folks that just have, they just can't learn. But there are some folks who they've learned to still be a butthole, but they've toned it down so they can still participate, And it's like, because if you don't want to participate, just leave, If you're going to make everybody else's evening bad, then just go away, But you can hang around and you can have a difference of opinion. Like here, you don't have to agree with everything we talk about, but at least be cordial about it, Um, well, Hawkeye, I think you're a dumbass. Okie dokie. There are many a time I am a dumbass. I will agree with you on that. I'm still learning, still trying to find wisdom in this crazy old world, if there is any to be had, Um, trying to learn from past mistakes, that we don't do this stupid shit no more, And how do we navigate the future with people who seem to be making mistakes left and right? And you got to stay away from their landmines, pooping on the floor, whoops, watch out, there's another one there, Clyde. So, anyway, my dear friends, have a good rest of the week. This being Wednesday now. I hope and pray that y'all will keep it between the ditches, that before you get too upset, you take a deep breath, you know, and you hold your hand over your heart and you go, not today. This is, this may be a good day to die, but I'm not today. Not today. And Richard and Mark, it's always good to see you. Steve, it's always good to see you. And Michelle, if you're there in the background, um, and whoever else might be out there, I love you. We love you. Please be safe. And, um, you know, be healthy, wealthy, and wise. And so we can all get together and do this again. So, how do I get out of here again? Okay, here we go. Adios, my friends. I much love you. I much love you. Yep.